Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day, and today I get to show you a little bit more progress on the peak of the mountain up there, which is now starting to be covered in a layer of snow blocks. And I haven't added snow layers to this top part yet. That is going to be in a later detail pass, but I really think that already those snow blocks are starting to fill in my overall picture of what I wanted these mountains to be. Oops, I kind of fell off the roof of my lodge there, but now when you look at that, yeah, that is looking a lot closer to what I hoped this mountain could be. And of course, around the back on the other side here, as you can see, we're not seeing a huge amount of snow on the side. A lot of this is still going mostly unfinished for the time being, and it's something that I intend to put a lot more work into in the near future. But for now, yeah, we still have some very hollow, very vacant mountains. But since this has been an ongoing project over the last little while, I've had a lot of people ask me if I regret building these mountains at this point, because I've spent over a month getting to the place where we're at right now, and you can see there is still a lot more work left to do. We still have a couple of peaks back there that still need any work doing on them whatsoever, and obviously around the back of the mountains you'll see that the whole area is still very much a facade. And so people have been asking me how exactly I maintain the level of stamina that I have for projects of this scale. How do I avoid getting burnt out or just getting plain bored? And some people have been asking me that for quite a while, and I get that question enough that I thought I would address that in this video. So this video is going to be less progress based and a little bit more theoretical about the process of not getting bored in Minecraft. So a lot of people ask things like, how do I avoid getting bored? How do I avoid burnout? How do I stay inspired? And how do I get inspiration? And these are all basically the same question. I also kind of see it, to be honest, as part of the role of the survival guide now. Let's go back into this house. Let's go into a nice cozy atmosphere so we can have a quick chat about this. I sort of see the survival guide now as no longer being something where I explain how to play the game. It's a little bit more about a guide to what you can do in this game when all of the other objectives have run out. Except when new features arrive with updates, of course, which is obviously going to happen sooner or later with the Nether update. We'll go into each of the features and what they do at that point, but even then, there's a limit to the amount of content you can get out of just looking at those features and doing stuff with them before you have to go back to larger projects like the mountains that we can now see out of this window. So the survival guide is, in my view, kind of a really long answer to the question of how to not get bored, and I'll try and explain what I mean and give you guys a bit of an overview in this video. So part of the problem is that Minecraft is a sandbox game, and a huge part of that means players setting their own objectives. There are other sandbox games out there like GTA, which are basically like a playground of set pieces and built-in quests that you can kind of generate on the fly, but they are predefined by the game. Minecraft, on the other hand, often feels like you've been given somebody else's half-finished painting and you're expected to add your own details to it. The game has this wide, sprawling landscape and a fixed set of objectives which never change. They form the core progression of the game and a few challenges, but all of them leave you with more stuff to do. Minecraft basically teaches you from the very beginning to create your own fun, and this is a point Simply Sark raised recently in his video about how Netherite is changing the progression of the game once it is added with the Nether updates. So I recommend checking his video out on the subject because he has a lot to say about this. But Minecraft, like I said, basically teaches you to create your own objectives. You punch a tree, and then what? You build a house, and then what? You fight a dragon, and then what? And even when you've beaten the final boss, the work is never really done. The game never ends if you don't want it to. Once the player has exhausted all the objectives set by the game, they have to set their own goals, and the game doesn't have any built-in reward system for that. It can't predict what you're going to do and reward you accordingly, so that feeling of satisfaction is going to have to come from you, which is often a difficult thing to reckon with. So here I'm going to provide you guys with 5 steps for avoiding getting bored in Minecraft. Step 1 is to decide what your favorite thing is to do in Minecraft. Are you a builder? Do you enjoy building redstone contraptions? Do you like exploration? Do you like combat? Do you like a mix of all of the above and more? Or, alternatively, are you just playing this game because it's a video game and you like video games? So despite the survival guide being basically about everything in Minecraft, I really enjoy building more than anything. You can probably tell because I've decided to build an entire mountain range, but it started really back on my first worlds before my YouTube channel. Back when I started the game, April 2014, Xbox 360 edition. I was exploring the map, which on Xbox 360 edition was only 850 blocks square, not very big. And while I was exploring, I set the objective of building a house at every corner of the world map. And it turned out the fourth corner was entirely an ocean biome, so I ended up doing some research to see if it was possible to build a base underwater. Ocean monuments hadn't been added to the game yet, sponges had no functionality and were only available in creative mode, so I ended up filling the whole room with dirt in order to extract the water, but I was able to do it. Anyway, it's fair to say that building has always been one of my favorite things to do in Minecraft, and if I was still a casual player instead of a content creator, I'd probably just be tinkering away in my world, building stuff. So as long as you know what your favorite thing is to do in Minecraft, you can move on to step 2, which is to identify what's causing you to get bored or burnt out, what's blocking that inspiration. If you don't really have a favorite thing, or you're just into the game's progression, have you completed some of the game's objectives but you didn't see the point in aiming for the rest of them? Or is the fun for you just that initial rush to find diamonds? If you're a builder, is a building project taking too long? Do you have a project with a particular build style? Is the grind for resources just boring? Do you find yourself mining for stone constantly because you can't build a castle without a frequent supply of stone? If you're a redstone guru or a technical player, have you made farms for everything conceivable and you just don't know what to do next? Is survival redstone too limiting for you, but then creative redstone goes too far in the opposite direction and doesn't really have a purpose when you're not building it in order to survive? If you prefer the exploration side of Minecraft, do you feel like you've seen everything there is to see? If you are a combat-focused player, have you completed all the boss fights? Have you got the highest tier gear imaginable, survived raids on hard, played hardcore, and then realized this game doesn't really offer much in the way of combat challenges? Each of these is, broadly speaking, one of the things that could cause you to get a little bit burnt out with Minecraft. You've basically exhausted the possibilities for your chosen discipline, or you've run up against obstacles that are preventing you from going any further with them. So now we've moved on to step 3, and I'm going to split step 3 into two parts, 3A and 3B. 3A is what I like to call the band-aids for the problem. This is basically the bad advice part, which might work for some people, but I don't really think is a solution. So for the people who like progression, start a new world. If you like that search for diamonds, you find yourself getting bored after that point, load up a new world and try it again. Maybe it suffers from diminishing returns, but you still find that excitement of struggling to survive early on in the game before all of the diamond armor and stuff makes you completely OP and you can take everything down. If you're a builder, maybe switch it up a little bit. Move to a different area, start a new base, give your first project a bit of room to breathe. Maybe you come back to it, maybe you don't. Pick some resources that you've had lying around for ages, finally find some use for that prismarine brick, try a new style just to blow the cobwebs out. Redstone folks, technical players, there are more farm designs out there. You look up a few tutorials, you see if your starter farms can be made more efficient. Check out the Psycraft guys and what they're doing lately. Maybe expand some of your existing farms, get into benchmarking them for a higher yield, and finding the point at which it just becomes too big to manage. Double down on the whole efficiency aspect of Redstone, because that is a rabbit hole you can go down quite easily. Explorers and people who just want to roam the world looking at stuff, maybe look into terrain expanding mods like Open Terrain Generator. There are settings for that like the Biome Bundle Pack, which add new biomes, new generated structures, and surprises around every turn. I played a series a while ago called Minecraft Harmony, which was in Biome Bundle with my good friend Python, and we had an absolute blast playing on that terrain. There was always something new to explore there. If you're a fighter, get into mods or even PvP minigames. PvP combat in Minecraft is deeper and more nuanced than you think. Just ask anyone in the PvP community. And while you're there, ask them why they don't play on versions past Minecraft 1.8. Outside of that, mods add new creatures, new bosses, higher tiers of armor. There is a ton of neat stuff you can do that all adds to that progression. Now, I find the problem with that approach is that it's really like eating more of your favorite food. Eventually, you're still going to get sick of eating the same thing over and over again, even if it's something really great like pizza. The trick to getting the most out of Minecraft, keeping a world alive for years, is to make everything your favorite food, or if you prefer, to have a balanced diet. Which leads us to step B, which is, in my opinion, the most important part. Diversify. We're going to keep the food metaphor for a second and make one of those food pyramids, or if you prefer, a Minecraft beacon. Yeah, that's definitely some imagery I can work with. So let's pretend each layer of this beacon is an aspect of Minecraft, and we can divide it up into what's important to us. I'm going to use myself as an example here, of course. So with our beacon all set up, at the top of the pyramid with the smallest amount of blocks, or the beacon itself, I guess, that's combat. Now, I'm not really that interested in fighting mobs, even bosses. There are challenges there, like fighting multiple withers at once, or fighting the dragon a whole bunch of times, which I've already done, but I'm now at the point where I'll never fight the dragon in this world again, because all of the objectives that it provides are done with. You know, I've generated all of the end gateways around the central end island. I don't really need to fight the dragon again, and I'm okay with that. So combat, up at the top there, definitely the smallest part of my Minecraft diet. The next layer down is game progression, getting hold of those diamonds, of course being the important part of the progression, and the rest all being laid out here for you in the advancements tab. I'm already done with all of the advancements in the game, including the kind of hidden ones, like how did we get here and everything like that. There it is down there at the bottom right. And I've already dabbled a little bit with setting up my own, which, yes, I know is something I promised I would do a while ago, but it requires a lot of out-of-game admin stuff that, to be honest, I find kind of boring, so I've been putting it off for a while. And while this progression is still important to me, it's definitely not my bread and butter. It's more like sugary snacks and sweets. It's cake. This whole layer should be made out of cake instead of diamond blocks. The middle layer here is exploration. I actually find exploring a new world or areas of my current world pretty fun, which is why it takes up a fairly chunky part of our beacon pyramid here. I like to take inspiration from a landscape when I decide where to build. For example, this snow biome is something I picked because I don't see people building in snow biomes all that much, but the amount of stuff you can do with snow layers is fantastic. So this seemed like a prime example of an area we could build a large expansive project. Also, because snow biomes themselves are typically connected in ways that make them seem like a continuous landscape instead of plains being broken up by swamps and mountains and all that kind of stuff and feeling a little bit less coherent. You have the same biome color across a huge expanse of the landscape with snow plains. But even if you aren't planning to build in the places you explore, there are still structures to find, unique resources you can get, or even some terrain formations you've never seen before. Exploration is kind of vital to the experience as far as I'm concerned. The second largest layer, as represented by the emerald blocks here, is actually redstone, or I suppose technical Minecraft, since some farms don't really need redstone at all. Now, as someone who primarily thinks of themselves as a builder, I'm amazed the technical side of the game has become as important to me as it has. I'm still not someone who needs their redstone to be hyper efficient, but I really enjoy when it meets or exceeds my expectations, and perhaps most importantly, it fuels my final layer, the foundation of everything in Minecraft for me, which is building. Building is still the aspect of Minecraft I want most in my life, but as building projects get more and more ambitious, it's been great to strike a balance and spend some time with these other aspects of Minecraft. Some of them provide a break from building, but technical Minecraft is also really important for providing building resources. Take this mountain project as an example, right? Like, I'm able to save a huge amount of the time I would spend mindlessly gathering stone using a haste beacon and a silk touch pickaxe or something like that, but I'm able to skip all of that work entirely because I'm able to turn on a cobblestone generator and a super smelter that will just produce natural stone for me in the background. The technical side of the game also allows me to farm food and resources for fireworks, and I have XP farms that can mend my tools quickly enough that I don't have to go AFK. It allows me to stay focused on building when I've got the momentum for it, which I clearly do right now, and building or upgrading the farms provides another activity for when I want a break. The order of these layers naturally is going to change from person to person. You might really dislike building or just not really feel like you can do it, but be way more into redstone or exploration. And if you want to get the most out of Minecraft, I think it's important to recognize that you need all 5 of these layers in order to make the full beacon. Balance is important. Redstone contraptions with trailing wires everywhere can be disguised by the building blocks around them. Likewise, if you're a combat player, maybe the building style that appeals to you is setting up a PvP arena or a playable dungeon minigame with redstone doors and monster spawners. This game has so many different elements that add up to an incredibly rich gameplay experience, and taking advantage of all of them is the key to not getting bored. But we're not done. There is a step 4 and optionally a step 5. Step 4 is, I believe, a pretty crucial one, and that is to pace yourself. A really important part of this is knowing how big a project is, how much effort is going to be required, and how much time is going to go into it, which, frankly, is probably something that only comes from experience. But trust me when I say the only reason I'm building a mountain range this size and doing it this quickly is because I know I've got the time to do it. It's Twitch stream content for me, and I can make videos out of it. But even then, I know it'd be a slog to build the entire thing continuously for a couple of weeks, which is why I switch it up. Since starting the mountains, I've also made videos about hardcore mode, resetting the end, fixing my blaze spawner, building a platform elevator, not to mention all of the stuff we've been doing in Skyblock on the side. I've also spent time on projects which tie into the mountain building grind, but have a different feel, like the stone generator and the boat ski slope that we designed in the last video. Breaking up this long and repetitive building project works well for me, but it's also worth realizing that you've got to put some time into the main project here and there if you want it to succeed. A mountain range is not going to appear overnight. I've been working on this for a month now, and it's still clearly less than halfway done. But I knew that was going to be the case when I committed to doing this project, and that's why when people ask me if I regret building mountains yet, the answer is still no. I knew what I was getting into. Setting realistic expectations for yourself and pacing yourself is a really important part of avoiding burnout. And lastly, we come to the controversial step 5. Let me reiterate. You don't have to play Minecraft. Minecraft is unlike most other games in that the sandbox nature of Minecraft encourages people to play it virtually forever. Other games will run out of objectives and content to feed the player, the end credits will roll, and you can move on to the next game. Or replay it, I guess, if you liked it a lot. Minecraft's end credits come after the dragon fight, but ironically for a dimension called the End, that's where the game begins for a lot of survival players. Access to shulker boxes and elytra means the freedom to explore the world at high speed and take a huge inventory with you. Not to mention there are building blocks and other things gated out there in the end void waiting to be discovered. But perhaps it's because the game never really ends, or perhaps even because of Minecraft's presence here on YouTube, where content creators make channels that seem like they're playing Minecraft 24/7, the impression a lot of players seem to get is that you have to keep playing Minecraft. And that winds up being one of the main fallacies of this community, that Minecraft should be the only game you need to play. When people ask me how they avoid getting bored playing Minecraft, my answer is usually, why do you feel like you have to keep doing something you find boring? For the vast majority of people, Minecraft is a hobby. It's not like getting bored of doing academic coursework that you need to do for school or a job that gets you paid. Once you're part of this community though, and you're aware of what other people have done in this game, you might develop the desire to emulate that. Typically though, those people can invest more time and effort into Minecraft while editing all the boring, grindy work out of their videos to make it seem effortless. The reality is very different, and a decent chunk of the time those people are full-time creators, or at least getting enough revenue from YouTube or Twitch to make it worth their while. But if you find Minecraft boring, if it isn't capturing your attention right now, you can play something else. Minecraft will still be there when you get back. Or if you don't have enough spare cash to buy new games, of course, you can always log into a server like Hypixel, where usually they've recreated a bunch of new games in Minecraft anyway. My point is, survival Minecraft shouldn't be something you feel an obligation to play constantly. But if you aren't feeling tired of the game, just restless and looking for a new approach, diversify and pace yourself. And good luck. Thanks for watching this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. Bit of a different one, bit of a talky episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like on it for me, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.